Okay, Tikkun Sofrim. But so much Chachamim diktaku over here. The matu lefi inyan echa me'aksum mehem shekaman lo yisak moshira kavana cheres lo yichtov kach ela kach. Now, it's a big machlokas between the masculine and the non-masculine as to who did the Tikkun Sofrim. Because there's a Rashi, a couple of places in a Chumash, where he seems to indicate the Tikkun Sofrim was done by Chazal, which is very, very, very radical, because that would imply that Chazal tampered with the text of the Torah, specifically the Anshe Knesset Gdolah, which is, there is some basis for that in the Rishonim, particularly in infamous Perush of Yehuda Chassid, which was condemned by Moshe Feinstein as a forgery, even though it's probably legitimate, where he talks about how the Anshe Knesset Gdolah took stuff out of Tanakh, put stuff out of Chumash, like they took the Halacha out of Chumash, put into Hillim, or they put stuff into Chumash, like the list of kings of in Edom, and Ibn Ezra is also infamous for saying about certain things like Knani, Oz Ba'aretz, and other things that they were inserted into Chumash later on. But by and large, most Rishonim hold that nothing was inserted into Chumash, and whatever was in Chumash is in Chumash, and of course, nothing was tampered with in Chumash. The one exception, possibly, according to the traditionalist view, is Kriyuk Ksiv. Because Kriyuk Ksiv, according to the Radak, came about because when they came back from the second Beis HaMikdash period, they had several Sefer Torah from which they had to compile an authoritative Sefer Torah for the Azorah, Ezra specifically, compiled one for the Azorah. So some of the Kriyuk Ksivs could be Masorah, but other ones could be because there was a discrepancy between the Torahs and whatever was the primary, the majority reading became, I forget which one, the Ksiv, and whenever the minority reading became the other one. So there are, besides Kriyuk Ksiv, again, the traditionalist view is that everything else is from Moshe as we see that Sinai, and maybe Kriyuk Ksiv are Lach Moshe Sinai. So here it says Tikkun Sofrim, it says, here he says specifically, in the traditionalist view, the Chachamim Medakte, they inferred what is a Tikkun, what's not a Tikkun. Okay? Kmo, Avram Odena Melech Bnei Hashem, right? It says Avram is still standing before God after the whole episode where he has the whole, before he has the whole dialogue with about Stone after Malachim left. So there, really it should say, it should have said Hashem was still standing in front of Avraham Avinu. That's what it should have said, right? But it doesn't. It says Avraham is standing there. Ella they infer that that's the intent of the pasuk, but the pasuk is changed. Right? It's more appropriate to say Avram is standing before God to say God was standing before Avram Avinu. Okay. Again, the traditionalist view. Shows they didn't add or detract even one letter. That's how they understood what was going on in understanding the Psukim. There are 18 such tikkunim. There's Kitzur Klallim, then Baruch Moshe Sinai. Kitzur Klallim, I don't remember what that is. Let's see what he says on the bottom here. So first of all, the Rabbi he says, below Shonabo Kam Uma. So he also says nothing was ever changed, right? It was as it was, and it's an interpretive tool, not a actual change. Okay, what is the next thing? Is Gimel. Nedarim Lamed Zayin. So I don't remember what that is. Let's just quickly check what's in the Nedarim Lamed Zayin. I just wrote that recently, which just goes to show how bad my memory is. Kitzur Sofrim. So it's a Lamed time of days. Rashi says, "Achar tavoru v'lo tavoru acher." That's it should really say tavoru acher. It's basically poetic license, where the order of the words is reversed because it sounds more fancy. That's not the word I'm looking for. More eloquent, more poetic. So therefore, Kitzur Sofrim is where the words, the order of the words is switched. The more a lot of places we have there are in the shiros, which are in Tanakh, where of course you have. Why did I say shiros? Should have said shiros. I'm not sure I said that. Anyway, in the songs in Tanakh, where obviously things are written with poetic license, right? Chazemo Rod. Things that just came to mind. So those are Kitzur Sofrim. Okay. So again, the Tikkun Sofrim is where it says it in a way that it would not otherwise have said it because of it's more of a lashon covered for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Kitzur Sofrim is poetic license. Okay. It's interesting that he brings us down here in the Klali HaShas because it's not really a cloud in Shas, it's a cloud in Tanakh, but I don't know.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of wondering what I was doing here.
Yeah. The Bryce is making several from Sukkim several drushes. Even though I'm not, I guess there's only enough kamina for one of them for the purpose that tomorrow. But because it's in past in passant, while it's going to the pasuk, the subtraction brings down other ones. Came b'mitzia gabi salamta. So the salamta we dash over there that if it's not if you kvoidcha, that you don't have to pick up a mitzia, right? Pamim shatamisale, right? Because if it's a zakim elfi kvota to get back to saveda, it's messy or it's whatever needs this thing to do for some reason, so he can ignore it, right? So the other dresses they're made from salamta. I forget what they are offhand, but he's saying that the other drushes, even though there's enough kamina from them for that sugya, they are brought down there. So they are.
Okay.
Coming on. Try to find where it is on the page. Talking. There you go. Oh, I don't see it here. It must be somewhere else because I don't see a Ramadan at all.
Okay. All right, so let's keep going.
Okay. But here table shares for Shnei Biurim Hafachim Zemizeh. You find words that have two opposite meanings. Kmo tachas. Tachas. Having lishnu that fusei. You make something, zeh, like we say in kaparas, right? Zeh tachas zeh, right? And so that's instead of that, whatever is on this should be nitpas, should be seized onto this, right? The other thing. That we should have to say makdish when you well, sometimes it's to make something else kadosh, like when you're saying this should be kadosh instead of this. The question of this should be redeemed, and it shouldn't be take its place, but should be redeemed. Paraketzat marimim. So it's like the case of a case where you say you make a tmura, right? So then the kedusha would be on both of them, right?
Right.
Sometimes you say, no, this should be redeemed on this, where, in other words, you want the kedusha to go off of one and go on to the other. Okay. So obviously, other things depends on context. You can't say, why did the Torah say something? Only in things where the stokim conceded, I guess, where it's explicit in Torah Shmiksav. Amra Torah below mipnei ma hainu apsh ein hat stokim modim bo. Even something which the Tzedokim do not concede about. That is a very weird thing. I don't understand what that means. Okay. Which basis?
Nachot Samech Chei Amud Beis.
Machodash. Okay, so.
Dibur Machil Machadash.
Yeah. Machodash. So. Okay. Lo shach meimer amar Torah b'davar shat stokim modim bo. Shehu the tani hel acher amar Torah havei omer b'pesach shtei lech b'atzeres. The beheder ksiv came. Suyah sayovel. Zeh ksiv. Suyah chem suyah sayovel. Ksur beheder. Samach l'biyas ha'cholos l'cheshbono. Niko shol l'maschim nos l'machar shnas l'chamishim. Avatzer so l'biyas ha'cholos l'cheshbono. And Niko shizol l'machar zyon t'visha. Lo yishtana l'yoylam. Okay, so Amr Torah, understand. You're saying, listen to the name Amr Torah. If it's Amr Torah means something explicit in the Torah. You can't say Amr Torah unless it's something explicit in the Torah itself. But to find it's explicit in Torah, same with stuck in my mind. But if below mipnei ma, I know Hashem talking about this. So he says no, but even if it says sometimes it says Amar Torah not mipnei without mipnei ma, and then it's the Torah says something, but the Stokim will not concede the point. Why shouldn't mipnei ma make a difference?
Mipnei ma is sort of asking why. Why did the Torah say something? Amar Torah is simply a statement.
So he's not okay. It's similar statement, so it can mean Amar Torah Shpal Peh, right? But or Amar had the Drush is saying. It says Mipnei Ma Amar Torah, and it's saying, well, the Torah says explicitly. Why is it telling us this explicitly? Okay. This is not explicit in the Tosfos. I can see why you got out of it.
Well, I didn't follow what the Tosfos is saying, but okay.
Yeah, okay, it doesn't matter because it's not explicit in the Tosfos. Okay, so Probably maybe Mikro B'Shem Tana. Shmuel Katan Amar B'Foy Becha Al Tisma. Right. So sometimes it brings down a statement of a Tana. It really is a puzzle. Specifically in this case, Shmuel Katan of Upaskan Mishle. So what they have a Margale B'Pumi the Shmuel Katan Davazeh. Yes, whatever brings out, there are lots of things in Shas where it says Margalo the Pume, the person was accustomed to say. And if you find that a pasuk is attributed to an Amtan or Amara, that means he would frequently say this over.
Okay.
Anything which was a Masorah, person received it, dug his heels in. He would not recant. The dog kind of stuff he's going to go to difficult extents in order to sustain his svara. He's smarter than Nafshi, but if he said it on his own, he's willing to recant if there is a good question against him.
Okay.
Okay, it makes sense. So I guess this is a good tool. In other words, if you see somebody who's not relenting and is going to great lengths, even being very docile, to sustain his svara, must he had him a about it. Therefore, he doesn't want to give it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if he was going to concede, it's his own svara. There's a little dollar here which I skipped, which I only understand. Back over here, by after the Losha.
Yeah. So where do I find that dollar?
In the Hagos Hagrib.
Hagos Hagrib. Okay.
So he says that Ein Sham Shomar Hefech. He says Taisa says the opposite. I told you Taisa not clear. So he wants to say that this is the opposite. If it says Mipnei Ma Amra Torah, it's not explicit. And that's why they throw in the Mipnei Ma. If it says Amra Torah, then it's explicit. It seems to make more sense. See that? Some ein chiluk. It says even though it doesn't in the end doesn't make a difference. So I guess all right. So that cloud is suspect.
All right.
Okay. They're back to the next one. Mara Isa. When they want to use that phraseology, with the name of Yivcha. It means you can say the opposite. Avo ein hakavana, ein pirush name of Zebzeh. But Mara Isa means I challenge you. Maybe the opposite is true. What does he say down here in Beis? Umara Isa. Taisvis, Erevin, Mara Isa, and Pashal B'Shem Rashi B'Dusho. The name of Zebzeh. Okay, so those who say the opposite. Again, this is a questionable cloud. Those who say it means why do you say this? Say the opposite. Some say why you say this? Say both. Okay. I guess we're getting down to the ones which are questionable. If the town is silent in one Masechta, maybe he says the spots elsewhere. So if he's finding time asking his friend the question of Mishnah B'Shasik, and the Tana does not respond, don't say because he was silent, he concedes and accepts. Even though he was silent, maybe he will respond somewhere else. Or else he'll respond. It wasn't mentioned. Oh, that's interesting. That's when a smaller scholar asks a greater scholar and he's silent. He didn't say that he didn't bother to answer. But if a greater scholar asks him a lesser scholar, you don't say that he was not concerned to answer him, because he better answer him. That silence is like a concession. Okay, so a lot of little notes here. First one is a tough. Where's that tough? Tough here.
There's a hay. There's a.
Oh, is that a hay? Oh yeah, it's not. It's hay. The hay is Ayin Rashi. That's signifies us. Gimel Ayin Tshuva Sardani Mari Harav. That also doesn't help us out. I'll just say the next page. The re of it. No. Oh, he says, okay, and what does he say? Yeah, he brings down the grief, which the Rabbi Yaakov also references. I go to give answer Milchama Ramban Perakama. The Sukkah got to be also tefach heichon mamido. It's the way you put the tefach of the third wall of the Sukkah. Mashkasa bezen. Some mechachacham hamachaber had kol hadamim b'sachim. Shastem b'chud akris v'sham yisrael be'lezer v'shul yichayot nista divrei atesis kaluhavin. Okay, whatever it is, somehow they're questioning this idea that the Katan doesn't have to answer. Okay, Sh'omar Gemara Maaseh Mashus Kachalocha. Yeah, that's important. Whenever there's a Maaseh brought down in the Gemara, the assumption is that makes it Halacha L'Maaseh. But sometimes when the Gemara concludes Halacha, rarely, but sometimes when it concludes Halacha, it's not Halacha. When the Gemara is on a Maaseh, that indicates that it is Halacha.
Okay.
Punishment Ploni High Kral Lo Dorish. He doesn't darshan this. Usually this ends the sugya. In my experience, the sugya will go back and forth until it says, like, who, I had this last night in Kiddushin, who lo dorish, right? Hi tana dorish, who, that's what they say, and the other tana, who lo dorish. So you can have a long sugya where each is going to ask, how do you learn that? How does that tana learn that out? How does that tana learn that out? You know, and back and forth, and finally we get to some word where there's an extra letter where one of them darshan says and the other one doesn't darshan. Karetz krisis lo dorish. You know, there are many examples like that, right? Like here, so karetz krisis lo dorish. Chen vav lo dorish, right? Chadoime. Ego is lo shei klal, which is what I would have thought. El hai drasha kamar. It doesn't actually with this drasha. Lo darshi el the makle drasha achrisei. Tesis Sanhedrin. I'm not sure I like this cloud because it sounds like from the Gemaras whenever it appears that he doesn't darshan this letter or this word at all. But he says, no, it could be darshan it for another purpose. Is that a little yud? A little vav.
It's like a dot.
After before Karetz Krisis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I don't trust him on this. I'm just looking at it.
Well, it may be that somebody doesn't darshan a vav in this case, but he doesn't mean he never darshans vavs.
Yeah.
Or that he never has,
yeah, it could be right. Yeah, that's true.
Or that he never has drushes of the sort karet kritus. It just means in this case he didn't have a masora that was the right drush about what to do with that there was a drusha there.
Yeah, that's possible. I'm very disappointed with the guy whoever wrote these references because it's like Yudal and Beis. It says here it's really Yudal and Ralph. It says Shimon Darish Vav. You
need to publish a corrected version.
Yeah. So you're right. That's exactly what it means. In other words, it doesn't mean that he doesn't darshan bubs at all. But he darshan bub, doesn't darshan this bub. You know what I'm saying? Either because of some principle or because of some reason he darshan this bub. Okay, I think we have time to do one more. Kol lo darshe pesu rabos davar she'ein asvar l'rabos. I guess it's someplace where they don't darshan kol. So it doesn't include something which there's no svara to be marbal. But davar she'ein asvar l'rabos, kuli amar darshe kol l'rabos. Well, that makes sense. Okay, so in other words, I guess the times they don't darshan kol, but a little bit of menachos there. But yes, generally you do share darshan kol if we can darshan something out of it. Okay, we got to the end of the column, which is a good place to stop.
Okay, good.
Thank you. We will to start a bit early today. Okay.
My pleasure.
Talk to you next week.
Okay, take it easy. Bye.